Welcome to a special edition of Water Break. We are having our first ever Halloween special. And Ryan and I, we're in costume today for those of you watching on our YouTube channel. And
I hope you noticed.
Yeah, Ryan, if you're listening to this, Ryan's got the who are you? Tell the folks who are listening and watching. Who are you?
Well, if you're listening to this on one of the podcasting formats, I am a stormtrooper. But if you are watching on YouTube, you pick that up hopefully pretty quickly. Yours is a little bit more difficult to pick out there, T.
Yeah. So I wanted to go with Peter Pan.
Yep.
But I just couldn't find enough Peter Pan, so I went with Buddy. I'm Buddy the Elf.
Buddy the Elf.
So I'm going a little Christmas for Halloween, but you know what? You can't. He's a good character, so that's who I am for Halloween.
Do you when you were growing up? What are your? Can you guys hear me? Because the headphones aren't really working.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Just want to make sure. What were your typical? What did a typical Halloween look like at the Thorogood home?
Typical Halloween looked like for us at the Thorogood home was my mom giving out old treats from that she had at school that day. So she didn't go out and buy any treats.
To you or to the kids?
To the kids in the neighborhood. To the kids in the neighborhood.
Okay.
Yeah, they would come.
Recycling candy.
Recycling candy. You know what I mean? You're like, those aren't your kids. You know, it's like I'm not gonna spend any money on some random kids. I'm like, all the candy that they gave to her, which she was a teacher. Her students gave her candy. She's like, hey, well, I'm not gonna eat this. So let's just give it around the neighborhood. So that was a typical. That's what Halloween was.
T, I'm surprised you didn't say the Harvest Festival.
The Harvest Fest. That usually wasn't on Halloween night. But
for those of you that don't know, a Harvest Festival is a event that takes place of Halloween because Halloween is of the devil.
Well, I mean,
Or so some people think.
Or some people would say. Yeah.
But really, Halloween to us just means dressing up and getting free candy. And that's kind of what it meant in my home. We would just go trick-or-treating for a couple hours and walk back with a huge pillowcase. And I didn't know this until now. My mom said that every night for like a week after Halloween, every single night, she would grab a handful of candy from each of our bags and take it to work and give it to her coworkers.
Wow.
She literally just told me this like within the last week.
That's pretty good though.
I was so disgusted.
And you just think you're eating the candy yourself.
Yeah, because there was so much.
Yeah.
So for the first week, then after a while when it gets smaller, if someone's taking it. But for the first week, you have a ton. But I literally I've never been more upset with my mother.
That's pretty good though.
Super disrespectful.
The disrespect.
It was disrespectful. But
T, your mom gave recycled candy to kids. I don't know what you're talking about. Mama T is disrespectful
at least she wasn't
over there.
giving like pretzels and stuff. I hate that when you walk up and like someone's like, "Oh, happy Halloween! Here's a bag of pretzel sticks."
Yeah,
If I wanted pretzel sticks, I would ask my mom to go to Smart Final and buy me pretzel sticks.
We went trick or treating last year and we got granola bars for one of the houses.
Wait. I need to just.
Bro, come on, bro. You're not.
Did you take like a was there a child there?
Yeah.
Okay,
There was.
You just went out by yourself.
And if we did, are you just gonna hate on that?
Yeah, I'm gonna hate on that. Yeah, absolutely, I am.
You're never too old to go trick or treating.
Oh, I don't know about that.
All right, yeah.
I took Chandler out trick or treating last year, and it was really because he was at that time he wasn't even a year.
He couldn't eat candy, probably.
No, he couldn't, and so I literally would hold the basket, get the candy, and then just had him in my arms. So it didn't have the same effect, but I'm excited about it this year.
Well, I'm not going trick or treating this year. I'm on a candy restriction.
Good.
I haven't had candy all year.
I like that.
So
good for you. Well, let's tell the people what we're doing today, what the episode's gonna look like to you. I'm gonna take my mask off.
Yeah. Take that mask off. We need to see who's under the mask. It's a rep. Oh,
I need to put my hat on.
Yeah. Gotta go. All right. So we got a special episode for you guys. We normally roll out 2 episodes a week, but we've got a special one, and we're coming at you on a Friday with our Halloween edition. Halloween is tomorrow, and we are excited about
spooky. This is the spooky edition.
The spooky season. You know, a little. I'm wondering how it's gonna be with COVID. You know, going around. You know how
we're just gonna knock on doors and just see what happens.
It's like
if they have their porch light on, we're coming.
Well, maybe everyone should have a mask on. I mean, you got a stormtrooper mask, so I mean,
it's true. This is not what I'm actually wearing for Halloween though, but
okay. But at least
I'm gonna be Sven.
Sven. Oh, from
Frozen.
Okay.
I got some little antlers I'm gonna wear.
Is that the moose? Was it?
Yes.
Moose?
Yeah. Because Chandler is I think he's a reindeer technically, isn't he?
Oh, okay.
Chandler is Olaf. My little guy's Olaf, and my wife is. I don't think she might be like Elsa or something.
Oh, okay.
But just wear normal clothes. It'll be like Elsa on like a Saturday, like just going shopping with the girls or something like that.
Also, when it's not Frozen.
Yeah.
In the summertime.
I mean, during the performance of Frozen, she's dressed out and stuff like that. But on the weekends, she's probably just wearing jeans and a tee.
Frozen 3.
Yeah. So that's what we're doing.
All right, so we're gonna start off the show with our first segment. We're calling this Trick or Treat, NFL edition. And so what we're gonna do, Dalen's gonna throw out. He's gonna break down some of the top teams in the NFL, and Ryan and I are just gonna go back and forth if we feel like if that team is either a trick, meaning they're not as good as we think they're gonna be,
or as their record is,
or as their record is, and or if they're a treat, they're the real deal.
They're here to stay.
They're legit. They're Super Bowl contenders. So without further ado, Day, you can't see him. He's off camera, but he's got on his Burger King outfit. So he is
he's got his crown.
He's got the crown. He's
ready
he's repping that Whopper gang.
Have it your way.
Have it your way.
I like that.
All right, Day, take it away.
That's right. All right, we'll start off with the Pittsburgh Steelers, sitting at 6-0, the only undefeated team left in the NFL. Trick or treat?
Treat.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Steelers. They're a treat this year. A good win against the Titans.
Dalen, your boy, Juju.
You got Juju.
Juju Smith-Schuster.
So, I mean, Claypool's promising. He didn't have a great week last week. But I like Pittsburgh. I like Big Ben. Just take care of the football. James Conner with the strong running game, and that defense is unbelievable. So I like Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh can they may be a threat in the AFC.
I think it's interesting because at the beginning of the season, Pittsburgh is always a good team. You always expect them to be a good team at least.
Yeah.
But I don't think we expected them to be this good, I would say, at the beginning of the year. I don't think they were on when we did a episode in season 1 talking about the top teams we believe are going to be the top teams in the NFL. I don't think Pittsburgh made it on either of our lists.
Yeah, no, I mean, because, they had a team, just a backup quarterback carousel with Duck Hodges and then what's the guy who got into it with Garrett. Anyways,
Mason Rudolph.
Mason Rudolph. So you had different quarterback carousel. So Big Ben coming back, there was the uncertainty, but he's been playing well. He's not
consistent.
He's not fantastic, but he's doing enough to keep the Pittsburgh Steelers around, and James Conner's good.
That's a treat.
They're a treat.
Let's keep it in the AFC North with the Baltimore Ravens, 5-1. Trick or treat?
I'm gonna go trick. Baltimore as the trick, because teams are starting to figure out Lamar Jackson. His numbers, and I know he's on my fantasy team, so I've been looking very closely at him. You can't really pass for 120, 130 yards, and get away with it every single week. I mean, there's you look at the game against the Eagles a couple weeks ago. With them, they get out to the early lead, but then the fact that he can't push the ball down the field, can't really throw unless the run sets everything up. Baltimore is starting to become more and more predictable. It's starting to look like remind me of Washington with RG3 several years back. I mean, just kind of becoming steadily you'll be more and more predictable as the season goes along. So
I see where you're coming from a little bit. I don't think you can really compare him to RG3. I mean, he's a significantly better player. I mean, an MVP caliber player, won an MVP.
But I'm kind of torn with this because
would you say trick or treat?
I don't know. I'm struggling with this one, and I'll tell you why. Is because last year, they were the top team. Everyone expected them to make the Super Bowl. All of this, and to see them fall to the Titans, I believe, correct?
Yeah,
I think they lost to the Titans.
Lost to Kansas City.
Did they?
Yeah.
In the playoffs?
Last year in the playoffs.
Yeah, in the playoffs. Yeah, they lost to the Titans.
This year.
No, in the playoffs last year they lost to the Titans, and so but we all expected them to do really good and have a deep playoff run, and I almost think the same thing's going to happen again. I can anticipate them having a really great regular season, and even Lamar maybe taking it to the next level in the regular season, and then I just don't know what it is. Maybe it's that mental toughness or something, but they fell so short in the playoffs last year, and I could see the same thing happening again.
Yeah, that's what I feel with Baltimore. I think they're a playoff team, but I could see them losing early on in the playoffs.
Yeah, I would say trick too. So we're in agreement on two of those.
Alrighty, last AFC North team worth mentioning, or kind of up there at least, is the Cleveland Browns. I mean, they're sitting at 5-2. Baker had a pretty good game, 5 touchdown passes. OBJ went out, but I mean, is this the turnaround season the Browns are looking at, or what do we feel here, guys?
The Browns, I am going to say that they are a trick. I'm going with the Browns as a trick. I mean, they did win. Baker played really well this past weekend. It was against the Bengals. And again, like even their last meeting with the against who just the Steelers. They played the Steelers the week before, and the Steelers crushed them. They played the Ravens week 1. The Ravens also annihilated them. I think they only got like 6 points in week 1 against the Ravens. So against the Ravens, against the Steelers, they've looked awful against those two teams. And they've got some wins against some mediocre opponents. Against the Cowboys, against the Bengals. So I'm going to go with them as a trick. Obviously, OBJ being out for the season. They do have one of the best 1-2 punches in the backfield with Chubb and Hunt. And so I don't know if Baker can just take care of the ball and make all the right throws, they'll be in a good spot. But I see them as a trick. I see them at best being that 7th seed in the playoffs, but more realistically, not making the playoffs.
So here's what I'm going to go, and I need to explain. I'm going to go with a treat, okay? And I'm coming from this perspective. The Cleveland Browns have been absolutely garbage for so many years and have never met any expectations and have let down Cleveland fans every single year. And so just to make it to the playoffs, I think for that fan base would be a treat.
Be worth it.
Would be a treat. And so I'm going to go with the treat on this one. I think I think Baker will almost accept that he's kind of been written off by a lot of the media and stuff, and I think he's going to accept that, and I think he'll have a good season. I'm not going to say he's going to be, whatever, MVP, or he's going to be this amazing quarterback, but I think he's going to have a good season, and I think for Cleveland fans, that's a treat.
Yep.
I'm going to go with trick. They're just not it. Anyways, let's take
But for Cleveland, for the city of Cleveland,
I guess,
if they make it to the playoffs, that's a win.
True. All right, let's take it south. AFC South, Tennessee Titans, 5-1.
Tennessee Titans, they had a tough loss against the Steelers, but I'm going to go with them as a treat. Look, their running game with Derrick Henry, he's a beast. He's unbelievable running. Especially once he gets to the second level, he's very hard to bring down. Ryan Tannehill is playing Pro Bowl level football. I mean, last playing with the Dolphins, he looked like a bust, and now it's just a total change in the way he plays. What surprised me is him just getting out of the pocket, him rolling them out and getting him out of the pocket and being able to use his legs, which has been a big surprise to me. And that defense is unbelievable. Mike Vrabel's done a fantastic job with that team. So I like the Titans. I think the Titans can make another deep run. They were lost in the AFC Championship game last year. Were up by 10 points against Kansas City. So I think they're a team that's hungry. I think they're a team that's legit. I like the Titans.
Yeah, I'm going to go treat as well. To me, they are the Miami Heat of the NFL. They just have that grit. And like we said last year, I think we all expected Baltimore to take them out and for them to just really, through the playoff, like you said, they were up 10 on the Chiefs at one point, and everyone thought, man, this might be over. Like the Chiefs might be out. To many of us, again, they were one of the top 2 teams, one of the favorites. I think they're going to have potentially another deep run. And like you said, I love Derrick Henry. He is an absolute monster and a beast. And I'm excited to see what they do this season.
Alrighty, let's move to the West, AFC West. Kansas City Chiefs, 6-1. We all know Pat Mahomes and.
Do we need to continue with this one?
Yeah, I mean,
if you say it's a trick, it's a treat.
Look, Kansas City's a treat. Being a Broncos fan, you just get to see.
It hurts you to say this, doesn't it?
It's hard. It's hard to say, but look, even with Patrick Mahomes, now he honestly hasn't played well. His last few outings against the Bills, against the Raiders, against even Denver. Denver's defense held Patrick Mahomes to 6 points. So he hasn't played great football. I think teams are starting to figure out if you can get pressure with your front four against Patrick Mahomes and just you're and you put your secondary, whether it's in zone defense or you can play good coverage within your secondary. You can get pressure within your front four, keep him in the pocket. You can actually rattle him a little bit. So I think Patrick Mahomes, he'll figure it out. I think he's a smart quarterback. Their offense is so dynamic. Their defense is good enough to keep them around and even create plays for them. So Kansas City is going to be a tough out. They're a team that's, I'll believe it when I see someone really, really dominate them. So Kansas City's a treat.
I'm going with a treat. Again, I think showing that, like you just mentioned, Mahomes really hasn't even met his expectations over these past few games and really at the beginning of the season, and they're still 5-1 at this point. Just goes to show that they're a treat.
Yeah.
Last but not least, the AFC East. The only one worth mentioning really there, Buffalo Bills, 5-2. Josh Allen's having a pretty good year. Trick or treat, boys.
This was your underdog team, T. This is a team you said at the beginning of the year, your dark horse, that you said you think you could see making it all the way. And obviously we had Tim on the previous episode, big Buffalo fan. He's excited about the year. I didn't really see where you were going at the start of this, but I'm going to have to move over to the treat side, and I think I'm going to have to move on to your side. And Buffalo's got some real potential. I'm excited to see what they do.
Yeah, I like Buffalo. They're a treat for me. Josh, I mean they've been a little rough the last couple weeks against Kansas City, against the Jets, but I like Josh Allen. I like what they're doing in the running game. I like Stephon Diggs, and their defense is really good. So the Bills, they're still my pick, my dark horse pick to win this Super Bowl. I think they'll figure it out come by the time of the trade deadline. We're getting close to midseason, so I like Buffalo.
All right, let's move over to the NFC. Starting with the NFC North, your Green Bay Packers, 5-1. Trick or treat.
I am going to go. Oh, this is tough. Because I'm torn with the Packers. The Packers, I mean the Buccaneers.
Gabe, if you're listening to this,
the Buccaneers gave it to the Packers a couple weeks back. They definitely had a bounce back game this week. The Packers are a really good team. I think they'll be a playoff team. I don't think they'll be a Super Bowl contender. So I'm going to go, yes, they're a playoff team. So I'm going to go as far as winning the Super Bowl, trick. They're a trick to me. I feel like they're the same team like from a year ago. Their receiving core is okay. Their running game, Aaron Jones is in and out of the lineup. So, and their defense is pretty decent. Aaron Rodgers, Again, if he can get protection, if he can get good, if his receiving core can, really step it up. But again, he hasn't had great receivers in the last few years, anyways. So, if they can make a move at the trade deadline, maybe trade for a guy like Amari Cooper or something like that. Maybe make a run at a Julio Jones or something.
I saw they were looking at Will Fuller was a name being thrown around.
Will Fuller's a good pickup,
good
deep threat too for them. So. If they can get some beef up that receiving core, maybe I like them to make a run at the Super Bowl. But I see them as last year, the same where San Francisco beat the brakes off of them. I see the Packers not being in the Super Bowl.
Can Aaron Rodgers make that one more spectacular play that he needs to make, or make that spectacular run? It seems like so many times in the past with Aaron Rodgers, he's made that right play at the right time, that great spectacular throw that we remember. So I don't know. I think I'm with you on this one. I'm torn. I would go with a trick at this point. I don't see them winning the Super Bowl or taking it all the way. But there's a lot of good teams this year in the NFL. It seems like it's pretty even across the board.
Yeah.
I'm going to disagree with both of you on that one. And I'm going to say that Green Bay's a treat to me, and here's why. I think Aaron Rodgers, even though he may not admit it, I think he is playing with a chip on his shoulder after, what Green Bay did with their first draft pick. And, I mean, they're sitting at 5-1, and like T said, the Buccaneers did hand it to him. But, I mean, if you look at all their other wins, they're quality wins.
Good wins,
and Aaron Rodgers is, to me, he's looks like, he's in MVP form right now, just, halfway through the season. And he's scary. He's a scary quarterback when it comes to, clutch time
late game.
And late games, things like that. So how people don't bet against Tom Brady. Aaron Rodgers is another one that I wouldn't, bet, against as well. But
yeah,
anyways,
that's the thing. He always seems to make the right play at the right time at the
so
end. And he makes that one unbelievable throw from his back foot with two guys coming at him and just rows it. And ends up usually going his way.
We're going to stay in the NFC North because the Chicago Bears are actually sitting at 5-2. Nick Foles coming over from the Eagles after, they benched Trubisky, and now, Nick Foles has been the starter. Trick or treat with the Chicago Bears in the NFC North.
I'm going to go trick. I don't see them. Like you said, we were debating on the Packers if they're a trick or a treat, and there was question there where we were kind of back and forth. And if we're saying that the Packers might not even be a treat, then you can't say the Bears are going to be a treat. I just don't think they really compare to the top teams in the NFL.
Yeah, the Bears are definitely a trick. Look, you can as you watch them week after week, I feel like you can start to see like Matt Nagy and they wanted to get Nick Foles in there and wanted to get Trubisky out because Trubisky was not playing poorly. Like, he wasn't playing awful. They pulled him out against the Falcons in that game, and like week 3, I think it was, they pulled him, or week 3 or 4, they pulled him out. Week 3, they were 2-0, and they were, Trubisky wasn't playing awful. He's playing at the same level that Nick Foles is. Like, they're playing okay football, average quarterback play. They got stomped by the Rams. They got the win against Tampa Bay on a Thursday night game, but Tampa Bay probably played the worst game. I think it was like 15 penalties they had. Like, they played a terrible game, and still Tampa Bay, had a chance to make a run. Nick Foles is a good quarterback for you. He can make a good late run. He's good for you for like 6 games. He's not your guy for the entire season.
And we've seen that, yeah.
Yeah, he's average. To me, he's Trubisky, but more likable, I guess. So the Bears are a trick. They're
not winning anything.
Yeah,
definitely agree on that one. NFC South, Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady are 5-2. Trick or treat.
The Buccaneers, they're on fire right now,
and they just picked up Antonio Brown.
So
which could. I'm going to say a treat, but I think it could make them a trick.
I sure hope not.
It could. But
I think he's learned his lesson.
He's had to have learned his lesson.
If he hasn't by now, he's got some real problems, some deep-rooted problems.
Couldn't play the first 8 games of this season. Obviously was a mess last season. So Production-wise, he's probably one of the most productive receivers in NFL history. Probably, I would say, top 5 productive receiver in NFL history. Unbelievable talent. So adding him to the roster, to that bomb receiving core Tom Brady has. Tom Brady's got 18 touchdowns already this season. So he's killing it. I like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I like them to win the division. I like them. I'm only really rooting for them in the NFC just because I want to see a team play a Super Bowl at home. So Tampa Bay is the host city for the Super Bowl this year. I think it'd be cool to see Tampa Bay play the Super Bowl in their home stadium. I think that'd be cool. And Tom Brady, even though I said he's the most overhyped quarterback, I'm only saying that really because I would like to see that, and they probably have a really good shot at
these past 4 games he's played unbelievable. Would you say if he continues this, or either of you, that he has a chance of winning the MVP this year?
Yeah. He's got a shot. I mean,
is he in the top 5 right now?
So what do you'd have Mahomes, Russell Wilson. You'd have to put Tom Brady in there.
Maybe Aaron Rodgers.
Maybe Aaron Rodgers is playing well. Derrick Henry's playing well, but I would say, you could maybe long shot.
He's 43, right?
43 years old.
Would that be crazy if he at 43?
Yeah, he's
won
got
the
18
MVP.
touchdowns. I think 5 interceptions already. So
I think he's in the.
He could definitely.
top
If he's
5.
on pace right now for if that pace, he'd be on pace for 43, 44 touchdowns. So and 9 interceptions, 10 interceptions. So that's definitely MVP numbers. And you're talking probably the Bucks would be like a 13-3 record, 12-4 maybe. So
I would love to see him get an MVP and another Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He's got a stacked team. So they're poised to do something.
They almost have no
big.
excuses though. You can't have an excuse. You have to produce with this squad.
It definitely reminds me of Peyton's second season with Denver. How we just had the stacked offense. I think we had the best offense in NFL history up to that point. With Thomas and Welker and Decker and Julius Thomas and stacked weapons on the offensive side of the ball and a solid defense. I think the Buccaneers have a solid defense and weapons. So I can see Tampa Bay is definitely a treat. I can see them in the Super Bowl. I'm only kind of I want to see a team host the Super Bowl in their own stadium.
I would say let's move over to the NFC East, but there's now one team that has 3 wins. They are as follows: Philadelphia Eagles 2-4-1, Washington Red football team 2-5, Dallas Cowboys 2-5, and the New York Giants 1-6. However, if the season ended today, the Eagles would have a playoff spot with 2 wins. Well, let's.
Can we say the whole division is a trick?
Definitely.
The whole division
bad,
is a trick.
so bad. I do feel bad for Dallas. Obviously Dak going down, but I don't think it would have.
But even with Dak,
yeah, Dak
he had big numbers, but
yeah, he's like a Matt Stafford. He's an empty calories quarterback. They always go down big, and then of course, when you're up big in the NFL, it's almost better to play from behind than to have a lead. Because defensively you play somewhat of a vanilla defense. Offensively, you just try to take care of the ball and don't turn it over. So, that's how Dak really plays. So
for sure.
And the best for last, let's move to the NFC West. Now there are 3 teams in the NFC West that have 5 wins. Let's start with the Seattle Seahawks. Russell Wilson 5-1. Trick or treat?
You're torn on this one.
Yeah, I am kind of torn on Seattle. Look, Seattle had the convincing win against Atlanta in Week 1, but you look at the rest of the game. They're 5-1. Their last 5 games, they've been either barely pulling it out, and then obviously against the Cardinals this past weekend,
overtime loss.
Yeah, they're losing in overtime, and Russell Wilson throwing 3 interceptions.
A couple really bad ones too.
Yeah, some bad interceptions. Not making the right plays. You look at barely tweaking out against the goal line stand, against the Patriots in week 2. You look at them squeaking one out against Dallas, squeaking out some other wins. So it's just they're good, and Russ is playing really well, and DK Metcalf is unbelievable. He's a beast. But
Tyler Lockett too.
Tyler Lockett. I'm gonna say Seattle is a trick. Seattle's a trick to me. I like some of the other teams in that division, even in the NFC. So I'm gonna say Seattle's a trick. I could see Seattle. They could at worst fall to. I mean, the Niners don't have the 5 wins, but the Niners look really good. This is gonna be a good game this weekend. The Niners and the Seahawks. I'm looking forward to that one. That'll be the real test to see how Seattle is. So if Seattle can handle their business and not like in a tiptoe final last field goal.
If they take care of the Niners.
Take care of the Niners.
Pretty easily.
I would change my mind. I would change them to maybe a trick. So
we'll say undecided.
So I'm going to say trick for now. We'll see after this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's like kind of what are we defining as a trick or a treat? Is a treat meaning we could definitely see them in the Super Bowl?
At least in a conference championship game.
I don't know, but I could see them there. I could see. So I'm gonna go treat. I could see Russ getting them there. Again, their receiving core, DK, Tyler Lockett. I think they have the weapons, they have the pieces, but yeah, you're right. They're in a extremely tough division, and like you said, the Niners aren't even in the top 3 teams. Dalen just mentioned there are 3 teams in the division that have 5 wins, and the Niners aren't even one of them. Like that's a pretty dangerous division. So really anything can happen in this division, but I'm going to go with a treat.
I'm with you on that one, Ryan. I'm going to go with treat as well. Russell Wilson has weapons as well. They're number 2 in the league in passing yards, so that him throwing the ball is not an issue. And then they're first in the league in points. So they put up numbers, and I think with that high caliber offense of them just being able to run and throw the ball, I think they're a treat. I think with Pete Carroll obviously being there for a while now and everything like
established himself. Yeah,
I think they're a treat, and I think in this division, I think if they beat the Cardinals this next time around, I know they play them later in the year. I think if they can squeeze one out against Arizona, I think they'll. I obviously being a Rams fan, we want to root for them, but I mean, Seattle's scary this year, especially in that division, and I think they're a treat.
It's their defense for me that's what's suspect. For them, they're giving up a lot of points.
Super sus.
To Dallas to,
as the kids say now,
to Arizona. I mean, Kyler Murray, eating them up on the defensive end. They did pick up Carlos Dunlap, which is a good pickup. Good.
Are you not a Kyler Murray fan?
I love watching Kyler
You do?
Murray.
Okay, I was just curious. That was more of a curiosity question. It wasn't a.
We'll get to them.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, speaking of Kyler Murray, Arizona Cardinals 5-2. Trick or treat.
I like Arizona. I like them as a treat. Kyler, I like the combination of Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury. They're getting a little more innovative and creative with the offense. Look, if you cannot keep Kyler Murray in the pocket, you let him get on the outside, it's game over. This dude is lightning fast. He's lightning quick. He'll light it up. I like Kenyon Drake coming out of the backfield, and then you have D-Hop, and then watching that game Sunday night, Larry Fitzgerald and just his veteran presence, him, just watching him, they throw the ball, on an out route to a receiver, and they're trying to, spike the ball and to set up for the field goal, and he's running over there, he's grabbing the football, he's bringing it back, giving it to the center or setting it down, giving it to the ref. Like his leadership on the field, you can just see it every play. He's telling guys where to move, where to go. Like he's helping Kyler out. I like him. I like DeAndre Hopkins. I like Kyler Murray. Budda Baker is a monster on the defensive end. So I like Arizona. They're a treat for me. I can see them getting to the playoffs at that 7th spot, maybe the 6th spot. So I like them.
I'm going to say trick, just because it frustrated me that you had Arizona as a treat and Seattle as a trick. I think when you watch that game, you're right. Arizona ended up winning the game, pulling it off in the end. And to me, Russell Wilson one of his worst games I've ever seen him play in the past 3 or 4 years, and it took one of his worst games for that to happen. I mean, those interceptions were, awful. Like, 2 of them at least were not even close. It took that bad of a game for them to be in the game. And so for that reason, I'm going to go a trick. I cannot put Seattle and Arizona on the same level. But I think Seattle is significantly better than Arizona.
But I think Arizona's defense just really turned it up, put a lot of pressure on Russell Wilson and made him make some of those mistakes. I mean, you look at the last interception was just a terrible read from Russell Wilson.
I think 2 of them were terrible reads.
But I don't know. Seattle's defense is very suspect.
Do you think Arizona is better than Seattle?
Right now they're even. Based off what I saw Sunday night and what I saw them. They torched Dallas, and then what I saw Sunday night, I really like Arizona. I like Kyler Murray. Cliff Kingsbury has really proven himself. So to me, Seattle and Arizona are even, but we'll see after this weekend.
All right.
Alrighty, and last but not least, the Los Angeles Rams at 5-2. Trick or treat?
I'm gonna go the Rams. They're another one I'm torn on in that division.
I just would like to say, as a Rams fan, and as a fan of everything Los Angeles,
you think they'll make the trifecta?
I don't know, but LA will be extremely disappointed. They've put so much pressure on them. If you've seen,
the Clippers didn't win.
I know, but it's like saying the Chargers didn't win. No one's expecting the Chargers to be there. But if you've seen, the Lakers and the Dodgers both have posted on their social media accounts multiple times, like, Rams, it's your turn. I'm like, wow, that's a lot of pressure. Like, dang, like, you're not even like, go get them, boys. You're literally like, win a championship.
Yeah,
like,
you got to win it all.
That's a lot of pressure. That would be cool. That would be cool if there was a trifecta. I'm not sure if I see that.
When the last time that ever happened in sports?
Has it ever happened? Maybe Boston. I think Boston's probably the only one that's done it.
I don't know. I think there maybe was a year when the Bruins won and the Patriots and the Red Sox won. I think maybe it was 2008 or something like 7.
Oh, I think you're right.
2007.
I think you're right.
No, the Patriots.
No,
lost
they won it
2007.
in 2008 is
2008?
when Boston won, because the Lakers won in 2009, 2010. So 2008 was Boston.
I don't think the Patriots. I don't know. We'd have to look it up. But anyways, maybe Boston.
I'm gonna look it up. You explain why what you think they are.
No,
I think they're a treat.
I think the Rams. Right now, I'm gonna go trick with the Rams. They did have a convincing win Monday night against Chicago, which I don't think Chicago is that great. But I'm gonna go with the Rams as a trick. Jared Goff. He's a good quarterback. He's above average.
No, it wasn't Boston. It was the Red Wings.
Okay. Yeah.
Bummer.
He's above average as a quarterback. I like him. This kid Malcolm Brown is proving that Todd Gurley wasn't worth all the money he was screaming for. They got a good receiving core, and Aaron Donald is a beast. I like the Rams. To me, as far as I think they can make the playoffs. I don't know about a run because they do have. You got Miami coming up this week, so I mean they could be easily going up to 6-2 this week. So I think they're a playoff team. But as far as that deep run in the playoffs, I don't see it.
The only team to win 3 major sports in the United States was in 1935, Detroit, MLB, NFL, and NHL in 1935. The last team to win 2 was Boston, when the Red Sox and Patriots won in 2004.
Okay. And then obviously this year.
Hopefully. Well, oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
This year, obviously, with the Lake Show and the Dodge Show, and if the Rams, that would be crazy. That would be super cool.
And they beat 2 Florida teams.
That's true. So, if we play Tampa, you can't. But in the NFC. My bad. I got excited for a sec. I was like,
maybe the Dolphins. The Dolphins. The Dolphins make the big.
Tua's coming back. He's leading them to the promised land.
Well, you got LA versus Miami this weekend, so maybe that's
that'll be our championship.
I think I think right now I'm leaning more towards the Rams being a trick, and that's me being a fan of them. But here's
Unbiased.
But here's why. They are in the same conference as the Cardinals and the Seahawks, which we haven't played either team yet, and we play the Cardinals twice. And just looking at how the Cardinals and the Seahawks have been playing, I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a battle between those two, unless the Rams can. I mean, their numbers aren't great. They're 18th in the league in passing yards. They're 7th in rushing yards, and they put up 25 points a game. So I mean, their numbers are average. I mean, they're not great, but like when you look at the Seahawks and the Cardinals numbers, it's like,
Yeah.
it's a there's a difference. Yeah.
It's
So it's like, I mean, right now I'd say a trick unless Sean McVay and Jared Goff can dial something big up for the, second half of the season. But I mean, if we struggle against, Seattle and Arizona, I mean, it's not going to look good. But for now, I would say they are a trick, but hopefully they can get something going and turn into a treat.
Grow to become a treat.
Yep.
There we go.
Well, that was the
Trick or treat NFL edition.
special. Let us know. What did we get it wrong? Let us know in the comments on the YouTube channel. Let us know on our social media. Did we get it right? Did we get it wrong? Who do you think the tricks and treats are for the NFL?
The NFL coming out. Some of them were a little bit easier than others, but there we go. We're going to move into the next segment of the show, and that is, we're calling this Fright Night. So what... Thank you for that. Appreciate that background music. Dalen's going to give us some NBA teams, and we're going to describe those teams by using the titles of different scary movies. Ooh. So the titles of different scary movies.
Was that an old lady? Like you're trying to help her cross the street. She's like, "Ooh, what are you doing? Why are you?"
I don't know what you're saying right now. Why are you so giggly right now? All right. That's what we're doing for this segment. Dalen, just can you take it away, bro? I'm not sure what is happening right now.
Anyways, like Rye said.
I think you knew that was a ghost. Just take Dalen.
Oh,
just
boy.
Stop.
Like Rye said, using scary movie titles, describe the following teams. We'll start with T since he is in this Halloween mood. T, I'm going to give you the Los Angeles Lakers.
The Los Angeles Lakers. So I'm going to go with a movie from 2013, I think this movie came out. I'm going to go with This Is the End.
But
for the Lakers.
All right. Explain yourself.
This is the end. All right. Look, the Lakers, they had their good run in the bubble. They won. Hats off to them. They won the championship. But look, this is the end. We got a lot of teams coming up in the Western Conference. You got the Clippers. They got their new coach. They're making a push at Rajon Rondo if they can poach him from the Lakers.
Oh yeah,
that's gonna.
It's like the fourth best player in the league.
That's gonna take down the Lakers. I mean, he obviously was their third best player in the playoffs. He was shooting 40% in the conference finals from three. So which he doesn't normally do. So he definitely elevated his game. If you get a guy like Rajon Rondo. You got the Clippers, you got the Warriors coming back, you got the Nuggets who had proven themselves. So this is the end for the Lakers.
Yeah,
their run in the Western Conference.
If we had LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Kawhi Leonard, and Giannis on the team, Terrell would still say this is the end. So anything he says is not credible. Okay, next one.
All right, right. The Los Angeles Clippers.
Los Angeles Clippers. There's many things I could say about them, but I'm going with this one. It's a movie. I've never even seen the movie. Honestly, I was just looking up old movie titles and scary movies, and I saw this. I was like, "Well, this is a clever one. I'm going with this." It's called The Invisible Man.
Ooh.
The Invisible Man.
Hey, that was a really good movie. Actually.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, I've actually never seen that many scary movies.
A few months ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, there we go.
Check it out.
I may. Probably not, but The Invisible Man. And I don't even know what the plot's about, but I saw the title, and it made me think of Paul George and just how he just was kind of invisible during the playoffs, and when his team needed him most, he shrunk and just became invisible. And
Pandemic P.
Pandemic P. And so I'm rolling with the Invisible Man. I think even Kawhi in Game 7. I mean, he was. People were giving a little too much hate to Kawhi. I think he literally 6 out of the 7 games I think played really, really well. Game 7 in the fourth quarter, he was absolutely horrible. I don't even think he had a field goal in the fourth quarter. But I'm going with the Invisible Man.
I like it.
Any arguments there? Thank you.
Shots at Pandemic P. I like the Clippers, though. If they can get Rondo, get rid of Pat Bev, you got Ty Lue. They're just missing that leadership.
I don't think they should get rid of Pat Bev.
He's got to go.
I mean, come off the bench.
For what?
What do you mean for what?
You got him and Rondo are the same player, except for Rondo's a lot better.
I would take Pat Bev defensively over Rondo right now.
What?
Yeah.
Pat Bev's a fake defensive player.
He gets the job done.
Not Rondo. He ain't Rondo.
Rondo's my dude.
Rondo's
come on.
4-time first team all defense.
I think right now though,
he's led the league in steals twice. Come on, you're a Celtics
What year?
guy.
What year?
I don't remember, but I know he's done it.
It wasn't recent.
Okay, but Pat Bev.
Right now,
I like
Bev's a better
his
defender.
energy. I would.
But
I don't think they should get rid of him.
I do agree. I do agree with you in this statement, T. I do agree. I think Rajon Rondo will mean more to the Clippers than Pat Bev will to the Clippers. But
I think so too. But I don't think you should get rid of him.
he's getting paid a pretty penny, to be honest. He's getting paid more than Lou Will is.
You can't. I mean, you don't want to have two of the same player like that. Like two guys who aren't great shooters from the outside.
Because Pat Bev, even near the end when he was playing, he wasn't starting, was he? I think Shamet was starting, wasn't he?
It was back in.
Yeah,
it
I
was
think they were
later
starting.
In that series,
Yeah, late in the series they were starting Shamet. So,
all right, moving on. We are back to T.
All right.
New Orleans Pelicans.
The Pelicans. I'm gonna go with Child's Play. Little Chucky doll. I'm gonna go with Child's Play. Look, they're a young team. I like Stan Van Gundy as the new coach. And I think the problem with him in Detroit was he was the coach and the GM. So now that he gets to be the coach, you got David Griffin there running the show. You've got a lot of good young pieces. Brandon Ingram, Lonzo, we'll see. But obviously the big one, Zion Williamson. So we got this young
Jackson Hayes,
up and coming team. Jackson Hayes, JJ Redick. So you got a good group of guys.
and they got Derek Favors too, so they do have some veterans too.
Yeah. So I like the young core that they have. Zion, we'll see what he's made of. Maybe David Griffin makes some moves and tries to get maybe tries to move Lonzo or something. You still got Drew Holiday. They're talking about Pop maybe moving him. So we'll see. But a Child's Play. That's what I'm going with the Pelicans.
I like it. All right, Rye. The Houston Rockets.
Houston Rockets, get out. Get out. That message is to James Harden. Get out. You are never going to win a title with Russell Westbrook. You either need to get out or he needs to get out. Something needs to happen. Either Joel Embiid needs to come to you or you need to go to Joel Embiid. Get out. That pairing is never going to win an NBA championship. Never. It's just not going to happen. As the two best players, I should say. They could win a championship if there was James Harden, someone else, and Westbrook was maybe the 3, but they need to get out of here. That team needs to be broken up. That team is not going to win a championship together.
Maybe he'll go to Philly. Yeah, I like that.
There's a lot of talks about that. I did read something this morning that said Philly was trying to get or was saying, or there were rumors that they were going to offer Ben Simmons for James Harden straight up. And the Rockets were like, nah, that's not happening. So they would definitely have to give some more pieces in that. But I would like to see James Harden move to Philly. I think in the East he'd be pretty successful out there with Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
So get out.
Get out.
I really like that title for them. That was a good one, Rye.
Thank you.
All right, T. Finishing up in the Western Conference, let's go with the Golden State Warriors.
The Golden State Warriors, I'm going with Dawn of the Dead. Look, the Warriors have been asleep all year. They've been quiet this past season. Klay Thompson out, Steph Curry out. Really, you got Draymond Green. They traded for Wiggins. They got Wiggins in the offseason. They got the number 2 pick in the draft. Look, this is the resurgence, the resurrection, the night of the dawn of the dead, the awakening of the Golden State Warriors. They're coming back, and they're coming back strong. Look, the Golden State Warriors, they can make a play. Look, I like keeping the number 2 pick and getting this kid Wiseman. Look, we saw in the playoffs, Anthony Davis is a problem for teams. So
is Jokic.
Jokic is a problem for teams too as well. So, but the Lakers, as much as everybody's playing small ball, the Lakers have the best small ball lineup. You do not want Anthony Davis at the 5 and LeBron James running the point. That's you're going to lose that battle. So if you want to go small ball, which the Warriors can, you don't want Draymond Green guarding Anthony Davis and Steph Curry guarding LeBron James. So if you got this kid Wiseman who can space the floor, he's a good passer as well. He's a good defender. I like him. Or you could trade the number 2 pick and try to get another piece, try to get another player. But
who'd they get?
I don't
the
know.
only like top level players that are available for trade is like Bradley Beal. Like he would not. I don't think he would fit in. They already
Giannis is a possibility. You could trade the 2. You could trade Wiggins. You could trade.
You would have to give up Dre too. To me, like
Draymond.
Like they I feel like when if I'm giving up Giannis, I want everything.
Yeah, I mean you got to give more and some draft capital.
I want drafts.
Maybe they could pull a third team in the mix maybe, and make it worth it. But I mean he might be.
I see Giannis showing his loyalty for another year, and if nothing happens within a year, I see him leaving. But I think he signs a supermax or he just signs a 2-year deal, kind of like what LeBron did in Cleveland, and says, hey, if you don't figure this out in a year, because I think in 2 or 3 years, the CBA is going to allow him to make even more money.
If I'm the Warriors, though, I mean, I'd put it all out on the table to get Giannis.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
of course.
But
so if you give up Dre, Wiggins, and the number 2 pick.
Yeah.
I feel like you're not going to get a better offer from anyone else.
No. Yeah.
I mean, Minnesota is the number 1, but who are they going to give up? They're going to have to give up Towns and the number 1 pick, and then Giannis is going to the same situation.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So.
Yeah. All right. Moving to the Eastern Conference. Rye, let's go with you, and let's do the Boston Celtics.
The Boston Celtics, I'm going the Lost Boys. I just feel like that team has so many good young players, and they can't figure it out. They're just
lost boys.
They're just a bunch of lost boys.
Unfortunately.
And, I mean, Dalen's the resident Celtics fan.
And
how do you feel about this?
And I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna say this, and I'll let Dalen you take it away. I hate the Celtics just like you hate the Lakers, because we're rivals. But I actually like the players on the Celtics. Like I like Jaylen Brown. I like Jason Tatum. I like Kemba. But it's just it seems to me there's almost that problem like there was in Philly like 2 years ago when Jimmy Butler went there and he's like, who's the leader here?
Mm-hmm.
Like when you look at Boston, like who's the leader? Who's the guy? Like when you come to the Lakers, like LeBron is the guy. Like that's the guy.
Like I was really hoping Kemba would be that guy to get it.
I think Marcus Smart is the guy. Like to me, like if anyone is the guy, it's Marcus Smart, and you can't have like your 4th best player being the guy.
Do you think Brad Stevens is a reincarnation of Doc Rivers? Like is he maybe?
No, because I think they're completely different coaches. Like
I mean, he's a great coach. He's
more X and O's than Doc would be. Doc is more relational and.
Yeah, I mean they both can do a lot with a little, but
yeah.
As far as like I'm just thinking of how they played against Miami in game 6 down the stretch. It was like as soon as Miami like got like a 5-point lead, they started jacking up threes. they would just try to get it all back at once and just kept pushing themselves more and more and more and more away. And so,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, my take on it is I think we have that guy, and in my opinion, it's Jason Tatum. But lately, we want him to be that guy so bad when we all look for him to be that guy and he's not producing. It's like, okay, that's it. It's over. We're done. But then at the same time, like, I want it to be Jason Tatum, but then Jaylen Brown has a big game, or then Kemba has a big game. So it's like one guy is always just going to have a big game. It was rare to see all three of them all just ball out. And it's just like, for them to have that one guy, I think they're missing. I think Jason Tatum just needs to, I don't know what it is. I mean, he's improved so much from just last year to this year, but it's like, I was the same thing. I was hoping Kemba would come in and kind of with that, veteran, mindset of just kind of, pushing him to the next level. But it's kind of like, they're all in their mind. I feel like they're all that player, but in my mind, I think Jason Tatum's the one. And it's just,
I think I was reading today that they are eyeing to try to trade for Rudy Gobert. So if they could trade Gordon Hayward and some picks for Rudy Gobert, I think that would be a huge answer.
I would be okay with that.
Yeah,
for
because
sure.
I think they didn't really have the rim protector.
I mean, no, you had
not with Tice and
Tice is
and
you would have to give up Tice
Cantor.
too.
I'd give him up in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
I mean,
after he missed the layup against. I thought he didn't. I feel like he missed a layup, or maybe he made a layup or something like that at the end of the game in one of those games.
So
I also don't think Brad Stevens is at fault. I love Brad, and I think he's a great coach. I think he, like you were saying, he is more of an X's and O's than Doc. I'm gonna ride with him until something.
Well, he just signed an
happens
extension.
yeah,
so
exactly.
You gotta ride with him right
you
now.
gotta stay
So-
with him.
I mean, I don't know. I think that they're in a good spot with him. It's just they just got to get to that next spot, But we'll see.
Yep.
We'll see. Alrighty, so we're moving on to the next one, and that is going to be T with the Milwaukee Bucks.
The Milwaukee Bucks. I'm going with Final Destination. Look, this team we have such high hopes for Milwaukee. They always start off strong. They start off the season in the regular season. They look unstoppable. They look unbeatable. Look, on a Tuesday night in Indiana, Giannis is unguardable. He's unbeatable. They're shooting the lights out. But when it comes down to it, look, they're not reaching that final destination. They're not hitting their goals. They underachieve, and they've lost in the second round. They lost in the conference finals, I think, the year before. But they lost in the second round this past year against Miami. They got destroyed by Miami. Toronto obviously figured out, wall up against Giannis. Miami took it to a whole other level, walled up against Milwaukee. So it's you take out Giannis. He doesn't have the pieces around him, the shooters around him. George Hill, Eric Bledsoe, those guys are good during the regular season. They've definitely underachieved during the postseason. Chris Middleton, he's a third piece. He's not your number two guy.
Yeah, I agree.
He had the one game when Giannis got hurt, but I mean,
they're missing that number two.
Yeah,
it's because the reason we're saying Eric Bledsoe and they're just not that great is because those guys technically are supposed to be role players, and we're putting them in position to be like a number three.
Yeah,
where it's like those guys need to be your 4, 5, and 6. The George Hill, the Eric Bledsoe, like those aren't. You can't have a championship team with one of those guys as your top 3 players.
No,
unless I mean, and I'm not trying to be funny. Unless you're like the Lakers and you have 2 of the top 5 best players in the league, which is only one team, and that's only going to be one team right now.
Yeah,
you can't have those guys as your number 3. So Giannis needs something else. I think potentially a partnership with Bradley Beal coming over to them. Man, that dude is a walking bucket. And I think him coming, you would have to give up so much draft capital. You would have to give up probably Eric Bledsoe. I don't know. who else to clear space. But I think that could be a real good potential. If you could keep Middleton and you have Middleton, Beal, and Giannis, you can pick up guys at the trade deadline, and you could pick up some guys that would allow you to be a championship team.
You know, another guy that I like, I don't know if it'd be tough because he's got a big contract, but it's Beal's teammate, it's Bledsoe's teammate in college, John Wall, who's a guy, obviously he's so injury prone, but
it's risky.
If he's got the fat contract, he is injury prone, but he's shown he can ball. I mean, it's tough. I
feel so bad, but this, I don't think anyone's going to trade for him with that money he's making. And this guy literally tore his Achilles in his house. Yeah. He tore his ACL, had surgery, then was walking around his house and tore his Achilles in his house.
Yeah,
who's gonna give up the farm for John Wall?
He's had to be the number one guy.
No, I agree.
So
I agree.
If he gets,
he would be a great number
two. Good 2 or 3. He's a solid. He could be the good point guard he could be the point guard that they need. Then you have Middleton. You've got Giannis. I don't know if Milwaukee's the spot, but but he's a guy. Maybe I like him. Obviously, he's injured so much we often forget about him. But
Washington is not going to win anything with those two guys. Yeah. They need to get as much as they can now for them.
Yeah,
in my opinion,
I like the guy Hachimura. I like him.
Yeah, the Japanese player. I think they could put themselves in a position like OKC right now. I mean, think about how many picks OKC has.
They have a grip of
they could do that. They could say to one of these top teams, like, if you give me, to the Bucks, I want 3 first rounds, and for John Wall or Bradley Beal.
Yeah,
the Bucks are like, man, Giannis already told us he's leaving if we don't do something. So here you go. I mean, that's what the Clippers did. I mean, Kawhi literally said that. Give me Paul George, or I'm not coming. What are they going to do? Like, we're about to get Kawhi Leonard. Okay, we'll give them everything they want.
Yeah.
Like, put in the same. I don't. This turned into much more than. But that's okay.
We'll move it along. Here we go. All right, Ryan, back to you. Let's go with the Miami Heat.
Miami Heat. I'm actually going to give them a kind one here, and I'm going to say we are still here. Man, Miami is young, and Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, as my buddy Kendrick Perkins says, Bam out of the bayou. Bam
out of the bayou. This is Stephen A.
Kendrick Perkins, every time he speaks, I'm like, what is he saying?
I can't hear him past that beard in his mouth.
He's the best player.
If you notice too, he's been because that Rachel Nichols, he's on the jump a lot. Rachel Nichols was in the bubble with Richard Jefferson, and so he'll come on all the time. And he's always cutting in and out. I'm like, dog, you're a millionaire. Like, get better Wi-Fi. Like, no one else that comes on is cutting off. But for some reason, Kendrick Perkins is cutting off all the time. Like, what? You got a 3G hotspot? Like,
Spectrum Wi-Fi.
He's got the 3G hotspot. Like, we're in that T-Mobile hotspot. He's stuck on his desk. He's like, all right, I'll connect to that real quick. Like, come on, dog. I'm gonna say we are still here though. They're young, like I said, and they're one of the teams this year that has the cap space to bring on a big name. I mean, that's why Giannis has been rumored to go there. Like, they have this core that got them to the finals, and they can sign a big name without losing anybody.
Yeah.
Like, they won't lose one piece. They could sign Giannis right now, and the only people they would lose, I believe, is Jay Crowder and Andre Iguodala. Like, that's it. Like, they would keep their core, and maybe Miles Leonard, who didn't even play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the core of the best players on the team who played would all still be there, and they could sign one of the top free agents. They're here to stay.
Yeah, I like Miami. Miami proved themselves for sure. I think Spoelstra's proved that he's one of the best coaches in the NBA. I like what they do. Who knows what they would have had? I didn't like what Pat Riley said. Putting an asterisk next to it. It's like, come on, like, you already said.
I did.
It's just like, all right, come on.
He was coming after LeBron.
Injuries are a part of it. Like, you could say that about at any point in the season.
Yeah.
Like, if someone was healthy or not. But yeah, I like Miami.
All right, T. The Brooklyn Nets.
The Brooklyn Nets. I'm going with one of my favorite scary movies that I've seen in a long time, A Quiet Place.
It's a very good movie.
Now, in the movie, there's these monsters that can't see, but they go off of
That was my monster noise.
But they go off of the sound, and if they hear noises, they're gonna eat you or cut you.
If you haven't
up,
seen that
whatever.
movie, the first 5 minutes is the most traumatic
part.
part.
That is just you're literally.
So
I think
sad.
everyone's just jaws drop. Like
within 5 minutes, I'm just like, what?
why did they
You just
do?
what?
Why did they do that?
Already?
Why
Like,
did
come
they
on, John Krasinski.
I
You're
mean,
better
the
than
second
this.
one's coming out, so we can
Yeah.
tell you what happened. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
little boy dies, and right in the beginning.
Within 5 minutes, and all he wanted was
He
the
was a
little
fire
truck
truck,
that
a little
had
ambulance
that,
truck.
that had the batteries. Like, he took the batteries with him. Like,
And they looked at him almost like you're grounded, but also
No,
dead.
his
dead.
family knew. They just were like, all right.
They're like, well, yeah, that's what you get for not listening.
don't move.
You know the rules.
You about to get ate up.
Son.
Stupid sister giving him the fire truck.
Yeah, I can't believe she did that. Anyways, A Quiet Place. No, I'm going with the Nets for A Quiet Place. Look, this is a team that has so much talent with Kyrie Irving, with Kevin Durant, but they also, we're forgetting to mention their other pieces like Spencer Dinwiddie and Karis LeVert, Joe Harris. They have these other
Jared
people.
Allen.
Jared Allen.
Andre Jordan. Yeah.
These guys, especially these other core pieces like Dinwiddie, like LeVert, they also need their shine. They also need the ball. These are guys who are easily starting on a lot of teams in the NBA and can be stars on other teams in the NBA, possibly even all-stars on other teams in the league. And then you've got KD, you've got Kyrie, you've got Steve Nash coming in, you have Amari Stoudemire being an assistant coach. This is a team that can, if they stay quiet, if they lay low, if they work together as a team, if they push their egos aside, they will be a championship team. But they're also a team with so many egos, so many voices.
If they talk, they will be destroyed.
They will implode if they start making noise. If you've got the burner phones from KD, you've got the conspiracies from Kyrie.
Bro, it seems like they've already done that to themselves. Like,
yeah,
they get on a podcast together and they're like, we don't need a head coach. Like, we're all head coaches. Like, I could be the head coach. You could be the head coach. He could be the head coach. He could be the head coach. It's like, no, like, there's one coach. Like, that's his title is head coach.
Or Kyrie saying that I've never played with anyone who can make the clutch shot, or since KD's the first guy who can make a clutch shot. It's like, okay, seriously,
bro. Like, LeBron made many clutch shots in the playoffs.
Yeah,
like, ridiculous.
That's my team. The Nets, A Quiet Place.
All right, last one. Let's go with the Philadelphia 76ers.
Philadelphia, I'm going Shutter Island. And I think what is going to eventually beat the Philadelphia 76ers is the Philadelphia 76ers.
If you haven't seen Shutter Island, it's the twist ending. That'll get you. You just got to watch it. I'm not going to explain to you the twist ending, but watch it.
But
Leo DiCaprio and Morgan Freeman kill it. So
I think if anyone's gonna beat them, it's gonna be themselves, and it will be themselves. I'm not saying is going to be. It's going to be themselves. Ben Simmons refuses to get a jump shot. I don't know why we haven't made it as big of a deal when a man makes a corner three, and the crowd acts as if he just scored his 30,000th point. Like the same amount of joy that we got when Kobe passed MJ in points was the same amount of joy the crowd had when Ben Simmons hit a three.
yeah.
Like, just embarrassing.
And even on the flip side, it's Joel Embiid hanging out at the 3-point line. Like you gotta go play inside and play a little bit different. So
This was a fun little episode.
yeah.
I had a good time with this. Doing a little Halloween special, bringing a little Halloween, and on Friday getting to connect with some of you guys on a day we don't normally bring a podcast.
Normally don't bring an episode, but happy Halloween to you. Make sure you get all that candy and stay safe. Don't be spreading that virus around. You know
That's
what
right.
it
Wear your
is.
mask.
Wear your mask. Like
All they have to do is get a costume that has a mask.
Exactly.
That's
And
right.
they're good.
Yeah, just so be safe out there. Have a happy Halloween. We will see you on Monday for the next episode. Stay hydrated.